Good day, everyone. This is Jason Santos, and for today, we are going to discuss laws of exponent, and this is the first part of solving exponential equations. So let's get started. So yeah, this is under the most essential learning competencies or MELCs, and based from the modules of general mathematics. So first off, let me show you some of the rules of exponents or laws of exponents. Now, kung you are familiar with this, it's good. However, some students are not very familiar on how to read and interpret the laws of exponents. That's why in this discussion, I will go on detail on each exponent or law of exponent so that later on you would be able to understand how to answer some of the basic given or basic algebraic or arithmetic given. So here, let's start first with a definition of exponent. So while most of you already know what an exponent is, so let's just define this. Exponent is also known as powers. Okay? So pag sinabi mo exponent, ang ibig sabihin nun in arithmetic is also power. Because it shows you how many times you have to multiply a base by number or by itself. So, ano ba yung base? No? Ito yung base natin. No? For our example, 4 raised to the power of 3. So, sabi nga natin kanina, exponent is power. So, yan yung 3. And then yung base mo is 4. So, 4 raised to 3 is telling you to multiply 4 by itself 3 times. So, ang gagawin natin, 4 raised to the power of 3 is equals to 4 times 4 times 4, or 64. The number being raised by a power is known as the base. Again, this is the base, while the superscript number above it is the exponent power. So, again, no, this is just a review of what you already know. Okay? So, ngayon, alam na natin what an exponent is. Meron tayong laws, okay, and rules in how we should read, interpret, or solve equations with given exponents. So there are actually 7 basic laws or rules uh, in dealing with exponents. Every every law should be recognized or understood para mas madali mo malaman what type of equation will you use. Okay? Are you going to add, subtract, multiply, divide, etc. So, nakasaad yan doon sa exponent rules. So, isa-isahin na natin. Ano? Let's start with number 1. Number 1 is product of powers rule. So, by the term itself, no, product. So, when you say product, you are talking of multiplication as an operation. Now, when multiplying two bases of the same value, keep the bases the same. So, i-retain mo daw yung base. And then, add the exponents together to get the solution. So, 4 squared times 4 raised to the power of 5 is equals to, alam. So, gagawin natin, since the base values are both 4, keep them the same and then add the exponents together. So, itong base na 4, i-retain mo siya dito, and then, ang sabi, you add the exponents. So, 2 plus 5 is equals to 7. And then, what you will do is multiply 4 by itself 7 times. So, multiply mo siya based sa sarili niya, based dun sa exponent or power na nakalagay. So, 4 times 4 times 4 hanggang maka 7 times ka. No? And if you would do that, your answer should be 16,384. Okay? So, again, this rule is what you call the product of powers rule. So, yan. Kagaya nitong example dito, ito rin siya, no? 4 times 4, if it's 4 squared is equals to 16, tapos 4 raised to the power of 5 is equals to 1,024. And then when you multiply the two, 16 times 1,024, you would still get the same answer, 16,384. So, equivalent siya. Okay? Now, let's proceed to number 2, or yung tinatawag nating Quotient of Powers rule. So, multiplication and division are opposites of each other. Much the same, the quotient rule acts as the opposite of the product rule. So, opposite siya kasi pag sinabi mong quotient, siya ay produkto ng division. While product is, again, a result of multiplication. So, when dividing two bases of the same value, you keep the base the same, similar pa rin din sa rule natin kanina, and then subtract the exponent values. So, ito iba ka. Tatandaan ninyo, kanina, what you did is nag-add ka. No? In-add mo yung exponent. Dito, you are going to subtract. So, yan, ano? You retain the base. 5 raised to the power of 5 divided by 5 raised to the power of 3 is equals to, you retain the base here, and then take the exponents, no? I-divide mo yung divisor from the dividend. So, 5 minus 3, you would have 2. So, yeah. 5 raised to the power of 2. And then, you simplify the equation. 5 times 5 is equals to 25. Now, applying this, no, ayan, 5 raised to the power of 5 divided by 5 raised to the power of 3. So, you would have 3,125 divided by 125. And your answer is still going to be 25. So, pareho pa rin siya. Now, let's go to number 3, the power of a power rule. This rule shows how to solve equations where a power is being raised by another power. So, meron ka ng exponent, power, and then, yung exponent na yun ay nire-raise pa ng isa pang exponent or another power. Kaya nga from the term itself, power of a power rule. So, x raised to the power of 3 multiplied by 3. No? So, meron pa siyang multiplication, no? Open and close parenthesis. So, itong 3 mo na exponent dito ay i-raise pa ng another exponent outside. So, in equations like this one, you multiply the exponents together and keep the base the same. So, keep the base the same. X, 3 times 3, you have 9. Okay, so kagaya nito, this is another version of your answer. So, yung x cube, so ganyan, nakatatlo siya, no? Ita times 3 mo pa daw yon, so inulit mo ng 3 beses. Okay? Therefore, you have x raised to the power of 9. So, now let's go to number 4, power of a product rule. So, when any base is being multiplied by an exponent, you distribute the exponent to each part of the base. So, kung merong multiplication, no, inside a given, and then altogether it's being raised by an exponent, so a power, what you would have to do is to distribute it. So, kagaya nito, the power of 3 needs to be distributed to both x and y variables. So, yung ita-transfer mo lang yung base sa kabila and then lahat sila ay magiging to the power of 3. So, x to the power of 3, y to the power of 3. This rule applies if there are exponents attached to the base as well. So, kahit na meron silang sarili nilang exponent, ang gagawin mo ay i-multiply sila. So, x squared times 3, y squared times 3, magiging x6 and y6. So, ganun din, long form dito, it's still an expression of power of a product. Number 5, we have the power of a quotient rule. So, a quotient simply means that you're dividing two quantities. So, we have established that already. No? And you are raising a quotient by a power. So, like the power of a product rule, the exponent needs to be distributed to all values. So, ang gagawin mo pa rin ay i-distribute mo itong power sa lahat ng values in an equation. So, kagaya nito, x over y. So, ganito siya, no? Nilagyan lang natin siya ng dash dito. Okay? Pero ito yung totoong form niya. So, x over y raised to the power of 4. Okay? So, here, you have to raise both variables within the bracket by the power of 4. So, when you transpose it sa kabilang side, x raised to the power of 4 over y raised to the power of 4. So, ganyan ang power of a quotient. 6, this is the easiest. We have the zero power rule. So, ang ibig sabihin nito is that any base raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So, kahit anong base yan, whether it's x, y, z, a, b, c, 1, 2, 3, kahit number pa yung ilagay mo dyan, kapag ka ni-raise mo siya sa 0 or power of 0, your answer is always going to be 1. And finally, we are in the negative exponent rule, which is the last. So, kapag ka meron daw negative, no, when there is a number being raised by a negative exponent, you have to flip it into a reciprocal. Kailangan mo daw siyang transpose sa kabila as a reciprocal. So, don't use the negative exponent to turn the base into a negative. So, kapag negative, of course, hindi mo siya matuturn into negative. Negative is to positive. Positive is to negative, vice versa. But ang pinag-uusapan natin dito is negative exponent. So, always remember na ang katumbas ng negative exponent ay positive exponent. So, to make a number into a reciprocal, turn the number into a fraction. So, again, no, put it over 1. So, flip the numerator into the denominator and vice versa. So, itong x na raised to the power of negative 2 sa kabila, dadalhin mo siya dito as positive. Ayan, kaya positive na siya. Tapos, magiging fraction siya, kaya mayroon siyang 1 sa taas. No? When a negative number switches places, it becomes a positive number. So, I hope naiintindihan natin yung 7 exponent or rules of exponent, laws of exponent. Ngayon, in order to test whether we really know what we have discussed, what I would like you to do is to answer this matching type. So, i-match natin siya, whether alin yung katumbas niya dito. And then, let's see if we were able to understand the discussion. So, pwede kayong sumabay. You can pause this video, answer it on your own, and then once you're done, come back and then you can resume the videos in order for you to see the answer. Okay, so I assume you are already done answering. So let's look ahead and see what are the answers. So these are our answers. So yung letter A natin, this one is product of powers rule. B is quotient of powers rule. C is power of a power rule. D is power of a product rule. E is power of a quotient rule. And then F is negative exponent rule. And G is negative exponent rule. And yung F is zero power rule. So that's it. No? I hope you have understood something from this lesson. For more videos like this, you can go ahead and check my playlists and follow me on all the social media platforms I'm in. So with that, thank you so much for watching this video. To God be all the glory. See you on the next video.